Mental health is a serious health problem. I have struggled with it for a long period of time. I even time to time do. And it's totally okay. Everyone does. And we all have to take treatment for it. There are people who are born with chronic depression like me, and I have to take medications to keep my mental thinking very slow because my brain processes way too fast. Example, the what, if, and why of every situation, everything in life. So, all these some medications will slow it down. It's the same as a car running on empty fuel. The car also basically has an extra engine part put in place just to make sure it never crosses the speed limit. Same with the mind. You take some medications just to make sure your mind doesn't cross a certain limit and stays on a certain level of functioning, doesn't cross that. Same goes with other problems like depression fog, where people whose depression affects their entire body, their bones, and puts their body in pain. That's a serious level of depression and needs heavy dosage of medications. and and now coming to emotional problems, people think emotional problems can be over with, we can just let time have its role in curing us. Time does indeed heal them, but they are serious problems as well. What you feel inside is as painful as what is you're feeling outside. Example, someone stabs you, there is pain, but if someone hurts you with words, that is also a lot of pain. But when someone hurts you with words, it sometimes is even more pain than what you feel from the outside, because the outside wounds can be stitched, but inside wounds can't be stitched, can they? They actually hurt. And the only way to heal from them is talk to others about it and live through them. When you have a problem, you have to face it head on. Running away from your problems never helps. It only further makes them bigger inside, and it further incapacitates your regret within your regret as well, that you did not stand up to these problems. You must always remember that emotional problems have to be faced head on, always. If there's a breakup you're suffering from, you must question within yourself, is this breakup worth it? Were you wrong in this situation? Were you right in this situation? If you feel you were wrong, you must make amends for it. You must correct yourself where you were wrong. But if you feel there was nothing you were wrong of and the other person was at fault, then it's the other person's problem. You know you didn't do anything wrong, get over it. Not get over it actually, but just have patience and just feel as though that problem doesn't really exist in front of you and you're making it a problem. And I know it's hard, it's tough to think that way, especially when feelings are involved, but we have to try. If there is some place you have to climb, you have to try to climb no matter how tired you get. Same goes with these problems when it comes to having breaks in relationships, breaks in friendships. If you're really attached to someone, it's hard suddenly then that person's not there in your life, and you need to sometimes have patience for that. But if the person can't exist with you physically, you must, if that person is a really important person, keep that person within you. Feel that person is still with you, maybe not in body but maybe in spirit. You must always keep that in mind. If the person is meant to be in your life, that person will be in your life. But the main thing in life is being strong. That's something we always have to remind ourselves. The difference when it comes to men and women in handling situations is that men are trained to be as hard as rocks, women are trained to be as adaptable as rivers. Because the women are taught how to handle emotions, how to curate feelings. Men are just taught to be hard income earners, hard workers. We are never taught as human beings to train and understand feelings, which is why it's hard for us to handle feelings and emotional problems as compared to as it is for women, because women are trained to for all of that. We aren't. And when they say men have low IQ, it's not because men are generally with low EQ being, sorry, not EQ, emotional intelligence. It's because society refuses to make men understand emotional intelligence because they think it's unworthy. It's no, men don't need it, but men do need it far more than women do. Because men need to learn to understand emotions. Because majority of crime in the world is done by men. Majority of problems are created by men. Majority of corrupt politicians are also men. Is because men aren't trained emotions. They're not trained to understand feelings. They're only trained to be strong or be as hard as rocks. The harder a rock tries, the more the rock cracks from the inside. That is exactly what's happening to men everywhere in the world. They're not caring. We men are not caring for what bad we're doing to everything else, and we're just caring for ourselves and what we can gain from any situation or matter, and it's actually damaging us more in the process. As what we are doing to damage, they're doing to others, it's damaging them more inside themselves rather. That's what I mean to say for everyone. Be strong always, and we can't always use our past as an excuse to not learn for the future. We must always learn. and live in the present, learn from the past, and live for the future. We must always teach ourselves these three things. And life is not worth ending. The matter of suicide and all, why should we end our own lives when we don't even know if there's better stuff that awaits us ahead? There are people who have changed around their lives, from being people who used to live in the middle of nowhere to people who live in luxurious mansions to people who live everywhere in the world. Majority of people, a lot of people have had tough lives, tough backgrounds, and everyone handles experiences based on their own psychological scripts wired to them since based on how they've lived their lives and socially and psychologically. And we must always learn to adapt to new situations, new matters, and new places, because we need to learn to be a part of what's new to us rather than just reject the very notion of it. Example, what do we learn from the Disney's movie Beauty and the Beast? When she was trapped in the Beast's castle, she could have been depressed, she could have been suicidal, but instead she made that her new life and became happy about it. And not just did she get new good things, the old good things she lost also returned back to her. That's the only way you should ever live. Learn to be happy with what's new in your life, so what was old to you and what important to you will also then return. Positivity increases positivity, negativity increases negativity. We must always remember that.